What's the craziest thing you've ever done for love?
We listen, but we don't judge.
I drove 4 hours to feed this man's cat, and then 4 hours back the same day.
I was living in LA and I was filming a ton, and she was working in Orlando as a Disney princess. After we hung up for our nightly call, I went straight to LAX and I took a red eye. I flew through the night and then I landed in Orlando and then took a cab straight to Magic Kingdom. I had no idea that you could wait 3 hours for a princess. And so
I tied her up and tried to get another man to humiliate her, if you know what that means.
During this trip, I met a beautiful, beautiful man. He asked me to marry him. I said yes. And I had to be back in the US at a certain time to complete my program. And I missed my flight. The officials at the school were contacted and my parents were contacted. They came back to get me. I mean, they had to escort me onto a plane with a Mexican police officer.
I stole my nephew's girl and she became my wife. That's pretty crazy.
I had the biggest crush on a boy in my youth group, and so when my sister would come and pick me up after, I would have her drive around the parking lot until he was leaving too so that we could cross paths. And I would never talk to him, but I would just make sure that we saw each other. And
He lost the love of his life and spent the next 6 years of his life going to film festivals across the world just trying to locate her.
This one guy that I dated that loved sharing his language with me, and so I was learning from him, but then I was like, I could speed this up and learn so much more if I took classes. So taking classes like 3 days a week, and he had access to my calendar. I had to label the lessons as something else so that he didn't get suspicious. I basically would ask him questions so that he would tell me vocabulary and how things worked in the language, so he thought he was teaching me, but it was really the classes.
I had a really big crush on this guy, and I asked him what acting class he was taking, just as a I'm gonna take an acting class. Started taking that class, told him that I had shopped around for classes. I didn't. And I took it for 3 or 4 months just so I could be in class with him.
don't settle for anything less.